Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm Dr. Paul. Welcome to the Healthy Mind. I've started this and doing this every morning just so we can have a little bit of position of the healthy mind during this time. Most of you know I did some of the sciences about how emotions and reactions are affecting us and what we're going through at this time and how we can have what you call a clear thought because our clear thoughts is what I think we're being affected by the crisis. And as we're being affected by the crisis, hold on a second. Because our clear thoughts, this is what I think we're being affected by. Hold on for a second there, guys. There you go. I had another audio pop on that was going to echoing, so I had to fix that. So I think we're being affected by the crisis. And in our affected by the crisis, I think we're going through some type of depression and action and anxiety. So I brought my friend on, Russ. Welcome, Russ, to the Healthy Mind.
Hey, thank you for having me, Dr. Paul. Appreciate me coming on again. I thank you so much.
I really appreciate it because this week we've been having guests, and then Monday we had I had a guest, Dr. Shaniva. She was from India, and she was talking about exploring the emotional connections and vibrations. And then Tuesday I had a friend of mine, Julian Vasquez. He was a Latino artist, music, but how music soothes the soul. And then Wednesday, I had on another good friend of mine, Katrina Michio, actress, writer, screenplay, filmmaker, and just talking about going through times and how we express ourselves, because she's an artist also. And then I want to have you on being a transitional coach, but, us having our great conversations that we've had before. I want to talk about separation. I think so many of us are going through this separation, and I know you and I have been through, like, you've been divorced, right?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Right.
Divorced for 1 year.
Yeah, and then I was divorced, and that's a separation. And then I saw recently you had your daughter on, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter, she lives in Louisiana. I'm here in New York, so I have my daughter on my show, Transition Tuesdays. Yes.
So, being away from your daughter, and I've been away from my daughters and children, we've gone through separation. So, this type of connection that we've had in our lives, I want to talk about how we get over that, through it. How did you do it because separation is hard for everyone, right?
It really is. It really is. It really is definitely difficult, being separated. I think for me, like, especially in terms of my when in my marriage, when I was going through a separation and then which led to a divorce, I think for me the most important thing for me was I was able and I went to seek support. That was the main thing for me. I was seeking support. I went on Talk Space in which I was, getting therapy for it, because you have that anxiety, like you mentioned there, Dr. Paul. And when you seek that support, you're reaching out for others. And for me, I did that professionally, so that helped me out.
Well, now when we're talking about this time period, that we have 22 million and counting out of work. Okay?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about the people who have not been counted. And we'd probably, if we could throw an easy conservative number, probably another 3 million people that will be dismissed out of the, quote, census, right? Because living in New York, we know a lot of people, they'll never get counted, and they work at these different sub-factories, these sweatshops.
Yeah.
They're not going to be counted. Their family life is definitely affected. Everyone's affected. Everyone's going through separation. My question is, Russ, do you think separation and anxiety is part of our human condition?
I think so, yes. It's part of our human condition. It's part of our psyche, especially now. It's part of it. It's like the fabric that you go through. It definitely is the case. That definitely is the case.
So do you think if it's part of our human condition, I believe it's part of our construction, like something that we've built up in ourselves. That's how I look at it. And the reason why, because I think we can change human condition. Well, if you look at condition like any other muscle, we can change anything that's been conditioned away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. Yeah, you can change that condition. It's all about the mindset in which you have too. I'm more from the theory of being positive and staying positive, especially in this separation period that you might be going through. So it's all a mindset, it's all a mentality, and it's all about being positive.
But you want to know something, Russ? You remember the times that we separated from something that we did not want to be separated from, or a situation that we felt like we had no control over, and yet we were still pulled apart. Having that human condition or going through that creates such suffering. And now I want to get into the question: do you think suffering was a good thing that you went through, or something that you wish you could have not went through? Because if separation's inevitable for anyone, whether it be from this to that, this job to that job, from our loved ones that we're not seeing now, is suffering a part of that?
I think so, because suffering is a part of your experience, is a part of your story. Without that story of you suffering, how can you get to where you're looking to go, which is connecting with something or somebody? So you have to go through that suffering. That suffering gets you to your end goal, which is connecting with somebody. So you have to go through that storm to come through it. You have to go through that storm to see that rainbow.
And that saddens me, because when we come out of this, does that leave us to selfishness? Like, because everyone's going through this individual storm, right? This individual suffering, because we're all individuals, right? I agree with that. But we live in this universality type system or society. And society has said before, if we change the environment, we can change the people. They've done it with the communists. They've done it with, after any global anything, whether it be Romans. If we change the people's environment, we can change the people. And if the environment now is changing, how are we changing with it, or are we still going to be part of that suffering? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, just to answer your question a little bit, Dr. Paul. It's not about being selfish. Because again, it's all about strengthening yourself, and you have to strengthen yourself before you and strengthen yourself and help yourself before you can help others get to that finish line. So, and again, these times of separation, I think those tough times make you stronger, and tough times call for stronger people. It makes for stronger people. So I think it's not about a selfish thing. It's about making yourself better so you can help yourself, and so that way that will allow you to help others.
And I'm kind of concerned about people coming out of this more selfish.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, then, Doc?
Well, because I don't like using the word devil advocate, but people understand what that means. I went through this. I was sad. I was depressed. I'm going after what I need, I want, I deserve. So that makes you selfish, especially if ego is being represented by the speech.
Gotcha. So you said yeah. There's a theory I've heard about ego, because we all have an ego. But I think what happens is when you use that ego, when you lead with your ego, you're edging God out.
Right.
So I don't like to lead with ego, but you have to go through this process. It's a process. Everything is a process. So I think if you don't lead with ego, you have a better chance to to getting to your common goal. So yeah, I just don't like to use the word ego, and I don't like to lead with that word ego, because the ego is a selfish act.
Yes.
We talked about being selfish. Yeah, so ego is a selfish act. So you can't lead with that ego, because when you do, you're edging God out, which is an acronym.
And I personally use that acronym also with ego edging God out, in growth, development, because ego, to me, it gets into consciousness. So, and it's the subconsciousness that is related in ego because it's trying to survive. It's trying to maintain just plain survival. And if we're only maintaining plain survival, then where do we come in your thought process of self?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right, correct. Yep, because that ego is all about your self survival, like you mentioned. Yes, so when you come in on that, so yeah, that's why. Yeah, ego is a powerful thing. I mean, we see it. So we see it in politics, as we're seeing now with who's in office now. The ego drives people, and it's kind of like a self destruction tool that you have, that ego. So you got to remove that ego in order to get to where you're looking to go.
And so if okay, so what we talked about even this far, and thank you so much, Russ Williams is transitional coach. Please look him up. He's been on my shows before. I'm not going to get into. You just got to contact Russ Williams. He's got the transitional game plan book he wrote. And I wanted to bring this conversation to on a Friday because next week on The Healthy Mind, I'm going to be talking about consciousness and how we are in conscious state or subconscious state. And so when it comes to this separation, and I was talking to some of my kids, and we're all going through a depressed state, okay, from not seeing each other. People are going through a depressed state from not visiting family, friends, mothers, whomever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But being in a depressed state does not have to create a sickness. I think there's a difference. I personally believe there's a difference between being depressed and being sick in depression.
Mm-hmm.
So many, I mean, I think our psychoanalysts have talked about this before, and I've read, and I've had different conversations with some therapists, is that, depression is part of what you mentioned before about going through something, right? Well, no, I don't have to catch a cold to know I can be healthy, right? Well, I don't need to catch a cold. I can feel run down, but I don't need to catch the flu. You know what I mean? And I think depression's like the flu. You can be depressed, run down, feeling overwhelmed. I think that is fine. But depression to me is a sickness. And we don't have to be sick to know that we can work on being healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we have to have that mindset. If you're in that state, this is a temporary state, but you have to really have that confidence in yourself to know that everything is going to get better. So, you're in that state now. You're in that situation now, but things are going to get better. And that's due to being positive. And I keep going back to that, to that word positivity. Because with that positivity, you're going to be in this state, but you're going to get on the other side. It's going to lead you to the other side, which is happiness instead of being separation. I feel that every day, Dr. Paul, because, I'm here in New York, but my two daughters are in Louisiana, so I get that separation anxiety. But by me talking to my daughters on a regular, everyday basis, I'm able to stay positive with them. And I know the end goal for me is, I know I'm in this state. We're in this state right now, being separated. But I know that we're going to get past this, especially throughout this coronavirus pandemic. We're going to get through all this. This is just a temporary state, but we're getting to our end goal, which is going to be getting a chance to see each other and getting a chance to reconnect with one another on an everyday basis.
But here now I'm thinking that because some of these people are some of these states, as you probably saw the news also, allowing people to go back to work, or they're releasing the restrictions a little bit, right?
Right.
This is what made me think of the separation. Are we rushing back to something because we feel like we are suffering too much to keep going through this? So in terms, we're going to create even more separation because this is going to create the uptick in the virus continue to spread.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Dr. Paul, because I think we are going back too soon. We just need to let the process play out. I think we're not doing the testing that we should be doing,
Right, right.
which will allow us to come back, in time. We're kind of like forcing the issue, and because we're trying to get our country up and running again. So yeah, I don't really subscribe to what's going on, especially in these early states like Georgia. We're doing that because, like you mentioned, that uptick that's going to happen is we're going to see like maybe 2 weeks from now, and seeing with them opening up so early, we might be back to square one again. So, it's a tough call, but here in New York, I know what I'm doing there, Dr. Paul, is as soon as Dr. Fauci makes a call, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, soon as the little man.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Shout out to Dr. Fauci. Yep. Soon as he makes the call for me, again, I'm gonna wait until maybe a week after he makes the call. So if he makes the call, hey, look, you can all go outside and everything. I'll wait 1 week after he makes that announcement, and then I'll be going out.
So I agree with that sentiment. There's a lot of people we need to protect in our lives from this health issues because even like I look at like my brother-in-law, right? He's got a heart problem. He's a little bit overweight. He's had some breathing problems, right? So if he contacted this virus, like he's been home, he's out in Minneapolis, and they're about ready to release Minneapolis, I think today actually, to loosen the thing, and I'm going to call him. I want to know when is he planning on going back to work because even if he hasn't gotten the virus, but what if he gets it a month from now? Like,
right,
yeah. So I don't want us to be afraid of ever going out. That seems almost unrealistic. But again, we still don't know what we're dealing with. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have testing sites. There's a lot of stuff. If I told you, hey Russ, let's go hiking, and you're like, well, where are we hiking? First of all, I don't know. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like. So what should I pack? Oh, don't worry about it. So what's the weather going to be like? I don't know. If I tell you this and you're like, so what are we going to use to climb? Oh, don't worry about it. We'll figure out when we get there. You're like, hey, Dr. Paul, I love you, man, but I ain't going.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not going with you. I'm going to sit this one out. Right.
You're like, yeah, no, you're going to have to go by, you're going to buy this by yourself.
Yeah, that fear of unknown, so, I guess African American, Black and brown people, we make up those people who are at risk, high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma. We make up those things. So, it's the process in which we have to sit back and wait. I know it's a tough thing to do, but I think when the time comes for us to come out, we have to rely on the scientists. We have to rely on the testing. You can't force the issue. This virus doesn't care about if you're black, brown, rich, poor, doesn't Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter about that. So we got to give the time to do the research, to get the data in order for us to come out, in order for us to restart our country. Can't force this issue. Got to make it happen throughout the scientists and the testing.
So, in here's a great thing you said about restart. When we look at getting back into a relationship from separation, we have to be a little bit, are we more cautious or are we just a little bit, like, are you back, getting back into a relationship after a divorce, it's a little bit scary, don't you think?
It is. In the situation with me, I'm looking to get involved with the situation, a couple of things. This coronavirus doesn't help those matters in terms of myself and relationships, but it is a scary thing. But you just have to understand that, for yourself, like for me, what I went through will equip me to have a better relationship and for my next relationship because I went through the storm. and you learn. The experience is a great teacher. So, but it is, you do get a little cautious, especially during this time in which we're living in. But those experiences will help you out in the long run, going through what you went through.
And I don't think even if we're cautious, and we'll use the word cautious or careful, I think those a little bit of synonymous. We don't have to be afraid, and I think as long as we're not afraid, we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't live in that fear. This is just a temporary state that you live in. Yeah, because fear is gonna just drive you to negative thoughts and negative reactions. So yeah, don't live in that fear. Don't sleep in the bed of fear. Make your bed, make your bed up though. You don't need that fear. You don't need that bed of fear to lay in and wallow in, because you're not gonna get anything. You're not gonna get anything resolved while living in fear.
So I'm glad to come on, and I don't like to keep people on too early here with the healthy mind conversation. I like to keep it around 20 minutes or so. I know I've been wrestling with this, especially here in the different states, going back to work or going back a little bit early or whatever they're doing, and we're feeling this separation of depression. I think we're okay with being depressed, or we could be sad, but we don't have to be sick. So I want people to be really talking about consciousness next week. I really want people to be consciousness about feeling sick and not and then also feeling sad, because we can be sad, we don't have to be sick. We could be depressed, but we don't have to be in depression. You know what I mean? So I if that doesn't make sense to people, I hope people want to contact us and talk about it. You want to give any words before you take off there, Russ?
Yeah, it's all about again, my main mantra is, especially when you're talking about being separated or separation, it's most important to be positive and stay positive while you're in that particular process. For me, which helped me out, was to seek support, seek help that will help you out in this process. And also the final thing I'll say, and like I talked about my game plan steps, my GPSs, is believe your situation will get better. This is just a temporary state. But when you stay positive and you seek support, you will get to your end goal, which is being, whatever goal that you're looking to achieve.
Thank you, my brother. I will contact you later. Much love, and you have a great, great Friday weekend. I'll talk to you later about that whole Jordan mess that made me sick as mess, but...
Hey, that's okay. Hey, episode 5 and 6 looks like it's going to be a doozy. I think they're going to be talking about the Knicks too, so we're going to have to, stay tuned for that, Dr. DePaul.
Hey, you put something that I saw about Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, yes.
You really believe that?
Oh, yes, okay.
Hold on. I'm going to let people know what the hell we're talking about, because, okay, he said this, okay, so Russ said Isaiah was the best 6-foot player that you've ever seen.
That's correct. Yes, and let me put this in context, there, Dr. Paul.
You better.
Okay. Well, for me, Isaiah Thomas meant everything to me. I remember seeing Isaiah Thomas in 1981. When I fell in love with Isaiah Thomas in the game of basketball, it was in 1981 when Indiana University beat North Carolina for the national championship.
Okay.
Isaiah Thomas is the reason why I wore number 11 in college. Isaiah Thomas, you got to understand about Isaiah Thomas. This guy was only 6 feet, soaking wet.
Yeah.
This guy had the opportunity to beat Michael Jordan in his prime, Larry Bird in his prime, and Magic Johnson in his prime. Little old Isaiah Thomas. This guy is the greatest player under 6 feet. I know you talk about Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? But no, Isaiah Thomas was the guy who had conquered those demons, which those 3 players, you got to know about those 3 immortals.
Yeah.
There was a little guy by the name of Isaiah Thomas who came along and slayed the giant.
Okay.
At 6 feet. That guy changed the game. He revolutionized the game. And that's why I say pound for pound, 6 feet and under, he is the best player to ever touch a basketball, bar none.
Okay, you got me. Because I sure was thinking of the answer.
Yeah. The answer comes a close second now because the answer, he transcended the game, so to speak. He's the reason why there was a dress code that was enforced
Yep.
in the NBA.
Yeah.
He changed the game, but it was people like Isaiah Thomas who had the, he constructed the blueprint for guys like Allen Iverson, guys like Tiny Nate Archibald, guys like that. Which Nate Archibald, I'll talk about a little bit about Nate Archibald was he has a record that I think will never be eclipsed. He is a guy that led the league in scoring and assists in 1 year. Now, James Harden had a chance to do that, but he didn't. But he was under 6 feet. But Allen Iverson changed the game. He's transcended the game. But there was a little guy by the name of Isaiah Lord Thomas, who is the guy, the GOAT in terms of those players 6 feet and under. And I'm not going to begin into why he was left off that dream team. Now that's a damn travesty.
Well, I think there was an argument.
What? An argument with who?
I think Michael kept him off.
Well, that's what people say. But what I'm hearing on the back end of those things, I think it was guys like Scottie Pippen. I think it was guys like Karl Malone. He had some battles with Karl Malone. I mean, Karl Malone gave him an elbow.
Right.
Opened him up, gave him like 22 stitches.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it was those people behind the scenes.
Okay.
Who left them off. And I know to this day, like if you look at the Dream Team documentary, Michael Jordan's talking about it. Hey, look, I'm not going to answer any questions about Isaiah Thomas, so you would think that, that led to that. But I think that was deep-rooted in terms of Jordan not liking Detroit Pistons. I know that was deep-rooted, and maybe that kept him off the team, but I cannot be with Chuck Daly, his coach, is coaching the team.
Right.
It behooves the mind. I don't know what's going on. You can't leave the best player under 6 feet off that team. Can't do it.
All right, Brother Russ. Thank you for clearing that up. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later, Doc. Thank you again.
So I wanna clear all this up and make this real short and get out of here. Let you guys have your Friday weekend. I just want to say thank you for joining me this week and the next week for the Healthy Mind. And next week we'll be talking about consciousness, and consciousness is important. We need to understand that we're going through this situation of separation. Separation will cause you into a different sickness. Understanding your consciousness of thought, and we'll go over that next week starting on Monday. Consciousness and subconsciousness. Is it part of what we are, or is it what we can develop? So, much love. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay blessed. Make sure you do your meditation, your prayers, and your exercises.
Russ Williams transition.